Hi, welcome back to Studio Psalms. I'm your host, Coda. This video is called Singleness with Solitude. And the meaning of that is in your singleness season, in your season where you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. You're just in a space where God needs you to be intimate with Him, in a place of solitude where it should be a deepened relationship between you and the Father. And just thinking about it, I have a lot of notes about it and that I wrote down and that I pulled scripture from. So I like to read those and give those to y'all today. And the first start, I will start with this, that singleness isn't loneliness, it's space. And when we feel that space with God's presence, solitude becomes strength. And you have to pay close attention because solitude isn't to divide, it's to grow, it's to multiply what's within you that God is working in. It may look divided in certain areas of your life because you can view it as, God, I'm alone. But I learned this yesterday from I was watching church, and it was from Stephen Furtick. He was talking about I think it was like old lies and new loop. And he was just saying how we that I forgot what he said. Oh Lord. But it was the main part that he says, I'm the only one left. And we have to stop looking at it as I'm the only one left, because we're not the only ones in these areas of our life, in these seasons of singleness or solitude. There are multiple people in the world who are going through the same thing you're going through. So don't just count it as God is not giving you what you need or what you want, because being single is a gift. As Paul once said, it was, where is it at? It says Paul identifies single and presents it as a valid and even preferable option for some, especially for serving the Lord without distractions. Singleness is a gift that is given to certain people or other people. I'm not saying it's you're greater than somebody. I'm not saying singleness is better, but I'm saying for the moment in your singleness, count it as all joy, because in it you're being developed. You're being molded to the way God needs you. God needs you in this certain season, and He's calling you to be single for a certain amount of time because He needs you to focus and to stop being distracted by the things, by the women, by the relationships, by the marriage. Because when you start getting distracted by it, you start idolizing it. You start looking at it. You're starting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, you're starting to, just idolize it. It's getting all up in your head, and it's allowing you to stop focusing on God, or it's allowing you to do certain things in your life, and then you're pushing God aside to focus on that certain relationship or that certain person. Excuse me, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Oh Jesus, but it's 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 a true gift given from God. So don't count it out, and don't. It's not bad to feel a certain way, feeling like you want a relationship. That's okay. Pray on it, keep moving with it, but don't allow it to become your distraction. In Mark chapter 1, verse 35, it says, very early in the morning, Jesus got up, left the house, went off to a solitary place where he prayed. And you can really just take that from Jesus, because Jesus didn't have a wife. Jesus was single. So God called Jesus for a certain purpose, to die for us, but Jesus was also called for a certain purpose to show people that you don't need to be in relation with physicality with a physical person to be in love or to be in a deep relationship with God. All you really need is God and that solitary place that you have with God. It could be anywhere. It could be outside. It could be in your house. It could be in a closet. It could be in your garage, your car, workspace, on breaks. It can be anywhere. A solitary place is where you meet God, is where God is. And God is everywhere. So not just one place is where you can meet God. God, you can meet Him any place you need Him. And for a person who goes through singleness, myself, I take every day and just, you know, it gets to me sometimes because I'm human. I would love to have a relationship. People been through relationships. You haven't had a relationship. I don't know what to say about that. I ain't gonna lie. And for a person who has been through relationships and they all ended the same, I look at it as God just saying that this is your time to be with me and not with them. This is your time to fully dive deep into relation with me and to be fully fully grasp what he is saying, what he is giving to me in this season of singleness. And each day God is speaking to me to something new or something that I once prayed for, and I'm looking around like, yeah, I prayed for this and I'm glad I prayed for this, but at the same time I get distracted because I'm romanticizing certain things. I'm creating my own life in my head. Like, dang, I want to do this by this age or that age. I want to be married by like 25. I want to have kids like this. And that's cool. But don't allow it to distract you, because it's going to allow your mind, it's going to allow the enemy to come into your life and try to just send certain people, send distractions, to send these people to come into your life looking good. Like I once said before in my last video, they look like they belong, but they really don't. So in your singleness, pay attention. In your singleness, have discernment. In your singleness, have God with you, because God can only lead you if you allow him to. God can only build you if you allow him to. Singleness is a gift. Singleness is not a curse. It's never loneliness, it's just solitude. It's having isolation from the worldly distractions or the distraction that you have placed upon yourself, or allowing the enemy to place upon you, to be removed from your eyesight, from your mind, and from your heart. You can have a great heart, but if you if you're lacking a certain point in your life where you just focusing on the love and relation and not the Father and the Son, then you really don't have anything. You have nothing to receive. You have nothing to give at this point, because you're just idolizing the physical love. And we do that multiple times in our life. We see people getting married at certain ages. We see people getting, even Christians, and I can say this for myself. I used to look at all these Christian influencers or pastors, and I just see them getting married and see them in a relationship and be like, dang, I want that too. And it, like I said, it's okay to want it, because you never know what God can do with it or what God can do in a certain amount of time. But take the single season and let yourself be molded into that certain pot God is placing, has built you for. And if we go look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 8, it says, "To the unmarried and the widows, I say that it is good for them to remain single as I am." Now, if you look at that, it's not saying that, no, you'll be single forever, but he's saying that it is good to be unmarried right now. It is good to be single right now, because you're in that singleness, you're allowing God to work on you. You're waking up every day not worrying about how to help your wife, how to help your girlfriend, what to buy for your girlfriend, how to get your girlfriend something on her birthday. You're focused on, how can I please God today? What does God need me to do today? And I'm not saying that when you're married that you can't do that, but you have to look at it as a certain point. It's God and your wife. But when it's just in your singleness, it's God and you, not God, you, your wife, God, you, your wife. It becomes in a certain point where in relation they still have struggles. So why try to focus on, getting into something when you're not ready? God is preparing you, so why are you trying to rush what he's preparing? Ooh. Like, man, you can't, ooh, Lord, you can't rush what God is doing. You can't skip the single season. And I'm not saying that God can't do that. I'm saying, personally, when God has you in that single season, ride with it. Walk with it. Don't run with it. Because I said before, when you're running it, you're rushing it. If God has you walking, walk with him. Because if God starts running, he wants you to run with him. But when God's walking, walk with him. Hold his hand tightly. And every single day, you could just say, God, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling very vulnerable in this moment. In these certain areas, we get in the mindset of singleness is hard, and that is cool, because nothing with God is going to look easy or going to be easy. It does not come with a curse. It comes with character. It comes with endurance. So stop looking at the singleness as you're always going to be alone, because we are not alone. We're just creating space for God to fill it. God is creating space with us so he can come into it when we call upon his name, when we give to God his time. And if we go back to that verse in Mark chapter 1, verse 35, it's very early in the morning. And in another one, I spoke about this the other day. And it says before daybreak. Jesus got up before the sun even came out, before anybody could even be woke. He got up and chose to give God his time, chose to go out and pray to God. So in this singleness season of this solitude that you're in, go out, get up, give God your time, give God the blah, blah, blah. Jesus, give God your voice, give God your glance, give God your first words. That's what I meant. Your first words. Give God your first words. It's very important that you give God your first steps of the day, and throughout the whole day, give God everything. Because when the distractions come, God is there to help you get through them. So when that singleness season is there, give God it. When that solitude season is there, give God it. Because God can do much more in that solitude and that singleness than you ever thought you could do. You're not alone. You're just in solitude. You're not alone. You're just isolated for a period of time from relationships. You're not alone. You're just being built. You're just being made better. You're just being made in the image of God. So it's not about being alone. It's not about being single. It's always going to be about God. It's always going to be about what God has for you and what's better that God has for you. His plans are better than our plans, and our plans will always be under what God has for us. The storm may look big. The single season may look long, but in it, our God is still bigger than it all. And the plans he has with us and for us in these seasons, maybe years, maybe months, maybe days. But don't count it out. Don't count God out in the season where you need him. In every season you're going to need God, but in this season of singleness, give it to him. And if we go look, if anybody knows Anna the prophet, in Luke chapter 2, verse 36 to 38, a widow who lived in the temple devoted her singleness and solitude to worship and prayer. She was a widow who, I don't even know much about her because I forgot so much, but I will go back and read it. But she was a person who was single, basically. And every day and night she devoted her time with God. She gave God her all. She fasted and prayed every single day. She gave God that fasting and that pray. She chose to give God her all, to be fully with God, to devote every single moment to God, to leave behind distractions, allow God to bring devotion in. So there's always going to be a difference between distractions and devotion. Being devoted is to be all in. To be distracted is to allow the distractions to come into the devotion which are allowing you to read for a certain moment, then you go look at your phone, to be locked in for a certain period of time, and then somebody calls you and be like, what you doing? You just be like, nothing. I was just doing something. And then you're allowing the distractions. You're allowing your mind to be consumed. And this is what my pastor said the other day. He said, we're stuck in, he says, instead of be stuck in the loop of being devoted, we read a certain point, and then we're consuming the word, and then we go out to the world to be consumed. And that was so great, because you comparing that to singleness and solitude. In certain moments, we're consuming what God is saying, and then we get on our phones, and then we see married couples, relationship, girlfriend, boyfriends, and then we're like, dang, where I'm at. Where's my man of God, woman of God? Where's my marriage? It's we're consuming God's word. We're allowing us to see it, but we're not listening. So we're consuming it, we're eating it, but then we're allowing the world to eat us. We're allowing the social media to eat us. We're allowing our point of view of people's life to consume us, to saying that God cannot help me in this. So stop getting distracted by social media. Stop getting distracted by the worldly point of view. It's okay to see relationships, but don't get yourself into a mindset of complaining that you don't have it. And that's okay. Bring it to God. He knows how you feel. He knows what you're going through, because he's putting you through it. He needs you to be put through it so you can be built, so you can be made new in the image he needs you to be, the image you were supposed to be. And you're just not ready at the moment. Because if he gave you it now, if God gave me my relationship now, I would probably mess it up. I'm not ready. I struggle each day to focus sometimes, to give God my midday and my night. Sometimes my morning. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I feel a certain way. I feel like, man, I have nobody to talk to today. I have nobody to call. And I'm not saying I don't have family. I'm saying I don't have a woman or a girlfriend that I could call and speak to, that I can enjoy time to. And that's cool, because that's how I feel. I have emotions. I'm human. And God knows that. But don't sit in it. Don't sit in that thought. Allow it to, don't allow it to consume you. As Pastor said, you're consuming the word, but then you're allowing the word to consume you. How about you stay in the loop of consuming the word? Stay in the loop of consuming what God is speaking to you. Because once you're in that loop, you're asking God for help. Once you're in that loop, you're calling the name of Jesus, saying, I can't do this alone. I can't do this by myself. And if you go look at Isaiah 41 verse 10, it says this in the ESV version. It says, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Everywhere we go, God is there. Every battle we face, God is giving us strength. He is the strength that we need. So without God in this season of singleness, we have nothing. So without God in singleness, it may look alone, but with God in singleness, you're not alone. Singleness is just a word. It is not your point of view. Singleness looks alone, but solitude is connection. So do not fear when you're in a season of singleness. Take it, give it to God. He will strengthen you in solitude.